Hi, folks. This is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature marketing consultant. And this is a motivational video. I'm going to try to motivate you to keep doing caricatures, keep drawing people, keep handing it out because you never know what your art might mean to somebody. Case in point, I got an interesting phone call. I got a phone call from a client who I had something like maybe 10 years ago. 10 years ago, he was surprised that I was still at the same number, but I don't change because, well, people might try to call me like past clients, so it actually works out. At any rate, I did his party. I did him and his wife, or him and his girlfriend. I don't really remember, and the caricature was so memorable to them both. And in the course of our conversation, he was telling me that him and his girl broke up. But they both loved the caricature, and they both loved it so much that they didn't want to part with the caricature. So what she did, she went into the room, she took down the caricature, and she ripped it in half, taking the piece that her part of the picture, was in. Now, the guy who told me the story, we were both laughing at this, but he let me know. He said, the caricature that you did had such an effect on her. It meant something so much to her that she wanted to keep that piece of it for herself. And I marveled at that because so many times, I draw pictures. I'm sure if you're an artist, you draw pictures, and they don't really impact on you. You're doing a job. You're drawing just another person. And if you've been drawing for a while, one face looks just like any other face, but not to that person that you're drawing. To that person that you're drawing, that represents a memory. It represents a magical time in their relationship. It could be a graduation. It could be an anniversary, or it could be just a couple in love. And that caricature, that picture that you draw, represents good times. It may represent good health. It may represent a time, if it's a child, the time that your child was young and innocent, and maybe they're not so young, maybe they're not so innocent anymore. It may represent the time their father or their mother or their loved ones were alive or living close to them, and maybe they're away now. It can mean a variety of things. So your artwork, your ability to put lines and colors on paper, means something to other people. It's not a frivolous thing. And you should never, ever think of your art as a frivolous thing. Now, here's a quick tip, in this pandemic, how do we make money? Everybody's doing the COVID thing, they've got the masks up. Nobody's really doing parties anymore, even though this guy called me for a party. But nobody's really doing that anymore in force. So how do you keep active? And I'm going to tell you something that some of you may already be doing, and that's good. But because of this pandemic, it's been most people's practice to do stuff over Zoom and Skype and other platforms like that. And man, I'm telling you, it's just an excellent, excellent opportunity, for us artists to do that. In fact, I think it's even a better opportunity, and I'll tell you why. You might be the kind of artist who can't really get a likeness very quick. You can get a decent one if you sat down in the studio and drew, but you might not be able to get a decent likeness, in a live event. When you're doing a Zoom, you have time, to get the likeness, especially if you can hook it up, in a way so that everybody else can watch you draw. People will actually come to watch the show. You know what I mean? Even if they're not being drawn. And so you can take as much time as you want. You also have the advantage of taking a variety of screenshots of people, getting their email addresses and emailing the finished product to them at a later time, maybe an hour later, maybe a day later, as you can draw it at your leisure. Since it's digital, it also, there's no expanse limit. You can, if you live in New York, you can have a party in California or Wisconsin or even overseas in England. like one of my caricature friends, is doing this week. So yeah, the sky's the limit. Okay, now I'm going to be coming out with a video soon because another one of my subscribers has asked me to make a video on doing the mouth in 3/4, and I haven't forgotten about that. So I'm really in the process of putting that together and seeing how that works visually. But I really want you to consider, what I have to say, today. Your art means something to somebody. Never think of your art as something frivolous, and really start investigating doing digital work. There are a lot of platforms that you can use. Zoom is the most popular. The online programs that you can use to make your artwork. I like Art Studio. That's an app for Apple, which also you can use Procreate. To do that, you can use Photoshop, but whatever you use something that's comfortable for you. Personally, I like Art Studio, but Procreate, may take it over because I just started using Procreate, and I'm beginning to really like it. So yeah, I'm gonna be using that in the future. Another thing you can do. I mean, you may have noticed that I've been putting a lot of animated GIFs and little silly animations up because I'm really investigating going into that arena. You may want to investigate doing things like that. Especially if you're a caricature artist. Your art is probably animated to begin with. It doesn't make any sense for it just to stay in your sketchbook, or on somebody's page and not moving. If you can even find little subtle ways to move it, even if it's just the mouth or the eyes, that's going to add more life, to your drawings. It's going to make your audience look at you, a little better, and it may open up a new skill for you. Last but not least, investigate in your own art education. An excellent resource is a resource called Skillshare, that I just discovered, and I'm taking a variety of classes in Skillshare. It's it's a moderate expense, that you have to pay, but this is your art education, and it's going to make you a better artist and more profitable. Okay, so I've said a lot of things, in this video. You can take any of these and any advice that I've given you and run with it. I'm trying to be faithful in at least making more videos and giving you content and giving you stuff to look at. So that's about it for this broadcast. This is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature marketing consultant.